Hey, how's it going, you guys? It is the one, the only Fried Chicken here. Today I got a really cool video in store for you guys, and that is going to be me putting two guns to the test. That is going to be the brand new P8-AR versus its competitor, the Gemini S71. So let's see how both of these rifles do in a head-to-head battle. Just as a disclaimer, the P8-AR is still in the PTU and is going through testing. Everything about this rifle is subjected to change, so please keep that in mind. First up, I want to do a recoil test, a side-by-side test to see which gun has more recoil. For this test, I'm going to be focusing on a little white dot that is on the other end of the hanger and firing the guns uncontrolled, meaning not compensating for the recoil, letting it just shoot with the recoil wildly at the point of interest. So, as you can clearly tell, one gun has far more recoil versus the other, and that's to be expected with the larger round that is being fired through the gun. Now, if we take a good look at the S71, you can see that this arm has little to no recoil, and the fire rate is ridiculously more faster than the P8-AR. So there is some trade-offs there. One has a slower fire rate, more damage, higher recoil, versus the S71, which is a little less. So make sure you choose wisely before you go out into the verse. Now let's take both of these firearms out into the verse and see how they fare during a field test. The way how I categorize this field test is by first, how many bullets it takes to take down an enemy, suppressed and unsuppressed, shooting low tier enemies all the way up to elite tier enemies. Starting off with the P8-AR, suppressed, with the low tier enemies, the ones who wear no armor, it's easily just one taps for this firearm. Now let's take a look at the S71 suppressed against the same enemy type. So as you can see, the P8 only takes one shot while the S71 takes two on unarmored grunts. Let's move on to the very next armor type and see how the guns perform. The next armor type is going to be the low to medium tier armor with the P8-AR suppressed. This rifle only takes 2 to 3 shots to take down its enemies, so very quick and fast if you're able to hit your mark. Now let's see how the S71 fares against similar enemy types. So as you can see, suppressed, the S71 takes about 4 to 5 shots to take down light to medium armor enemies. But if you notice, the TTK is pretty much the same as long as you hit your mark. Luckily, the fire rate of the S71 is so fast that there's almost no difference in the TTK. Now let's switch it up and see how both guns fare unsuppressed. During the unsuppressed test, I decided to start with the S71 against an elite soldier first. That was 12 shots, including a headshot with the S71 unsuppressed. The TTK for this enemy is quite long for the elite soldiers. But now, let's see how the P8-AR fares against the elite soldiers. So, with the P8-AR, it only takes about 5 shots to take down an elite soldier. Doesn't matter if it's from the chest to the head, this thing is a complete beast. Now, let's take a look at the S71 versus medium to low tier enemies and see how it fares unsuppressed. I would first like to apologize for my poor marksmanship, but with the S71 with the suppressor off, damage is greatly increased. This gun can now take down medium to low tier enemies with just 4 shots, 5 at a distance. But now, let's take a look at the P8-AR and see how this arm demolishes the enemies without no suppressor on. Again, disclaimer, everything about this firearm can change in the future just because it's in the PTU. So you can obviously tell which firearm has more stopping power, but you have to look at the advantages and disadvantages of both firearms. For example, the advantages that the S71 has over the P8 is that it has a faster fire rate and it has smoother recoil, so you're able to make your shots count quicker and easier versus the P8. The P8-AR is definitely a powerhouse. It takes just a few shots to kill your enemy, but you have to make those shots count. With the wild recoil, even with a compensator, it is still hard to make your shots count, which can leave you vulnerable. The TTK for these guns are very similar depending on how you play. If you're quick on the trigger finger, then the S71 might be for you, just because it is smoother and more accurate versus the P8. If you're someone who is really good at aiming and always gets his shots, you're a true marksman, then the P8 is definitely for you. But hey, they really are similar, just one has 15 rounds and one has 30. One takes twice as many bullets to kill, the other one doesn't, so look at it like that. The S71 is literally just the P8, but chopped in half. And boom, that is pretty much it. That is my comparison video between the Gemini S71 and the Behring P8-AR. Both of these guns are very great guns. They both have a lot of firepower. They are both fun to play with, and they just are in their own genre of their own for semi-automatic rifles. I feel like the P8-AR is more akin to a battle rifle versus the S71, which is kind of built, in my opinion, more like an M16, if you will, just a single action fire or a semi-automatic fire. But both very great arms, and I enjoy using both of them. Definitely very curious what type of nerfs are upcoming for the P8, because we all know that this arm is way too powerful, pretty much god tier. I feel like they're gonna knock it down a notch before they actually release it to live. So let's see and pray and hope that they don't knock it down too much. But you know how it is with CIG. They don't tell us anything, they just act. I would like for all of y'all to comment on this video and tell me you guys' thoughts. If you guys are playing with this rifle in game right now, if you guys are enjoying it, is it too overpowered in your opinion, or is it just feeling right? Do you guys like using the S71? Tell me down below in the comments. Let's spitball about it. But please rate, comment, and subscribe. You know who it is, the one, the only, the true fried chicken. Out.